And I kind of feel like the old lady blogger because like a lot of these young whippersnappers are just on Instagram. You know, there's a lot of Instagram influencers, and I have Instagram plus other stuff. And and I hear a lot of them talking about algorithms, and they're really devastated when Instagram changes their algorithm. And I learned my lesson. I literally sound like an old lady. Back in 2014, I learned my lesson.
Welcome to the CEO Spot. I'm excited for our interview today. I get to interview one of my longtime clients and just one of the most phenomenal but most down-to-earth businesswomen that I know. This is Jill Winger. Jill, welcome to the CEO Spot.
Hey, Amy, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited always when I get to see you. So I'm going to brag about Jill for just a minute because she is seriously one of the last people in the world that would brag about herself. So Jill started her blog, The Prairie Homestead, when she was just like a teenager, I swear. So,
almost.
She was pretty young and young married, young mom, and was just excited and passionate about homesteading and she wanted an outlet to be able to share what she was learning, and has grown this massive media company that is now across all social media platforms. Jill, I'm going to let you share in just a minute what your subscriber number is on your blog, but she's got massive amounts of subscribers. She's got a YouTube following. She's got a book that's coming out next year and a publishing deal, and just really has created a media empire that has grown into something that completely supports her family. So, Jill, you really have done what every aspiring blogger dreams of doing. So we're excited to have you on, get you to share some of your insights and wisdom.
Yes, me too. I love to talk about this stuff. I don't get to talk about it as much as I'd like, so this will be good.
Yeah, well, your blog, you get to talk a lot about recipes and animals and gardens, but you are more than that. You know, you really are a genius, brilliant businesswoman. So we're excited to have you. So do you want to share with us what the subscribers are at for your blog now?
Sure. So we started in 2010, and I always tell people it was not my intention to grow this thing that I have now. I started just as a really kind of a bored stay-at-home mom, and I needed an outlet, and it was very low expectation. So we've been around for about 8 years, and currently we're sitting at about 90,000 email subscribers. We get anywhere from 800,000 to 1 million page views on the blog each month. I think we're at 320,000 on Facebook, and Pinterest is about 200K, and YouTube we're just starting. So I'm beginner mode and learning how to navigate a new social media channel on YouTube right now. So that's kind of my latest frontier.
It's got a learning curve too. I'm learning because
It does. Yes.
Just because you know how to navigate the other ones doesn't know you know this one yet. So
exactly.
So you started back in the early days of blogging, and it was, I think, I started my blog later than yours. I started my blog 6 years ago. And even in the last few years, I feel like blogging has changed quite a bit. So do you want to share with us some of the things that you've seen in your journey of blogging that, you know, maybe were working great then, but aren't working as great now?
Mm-hmm. And this is a really valid question because the landscape has changed a lot. Even to the point it's caused a handful of blogging guru expert folks to, you know, even toy with the idea that, oh, maybe blogging is dead. Maybe blogging is something of the past. And I don't agree with that. I think there's a lot of validity and a lot of value to having a blog, but it absolutely has changed. And what I'm seeing is, you know, back at the beginning when, like, and I consider the beginning back when, you know, you could say the word blog in a normal conversation in your town and most people wouldn't really know what you're talking about. They're like, you do what? What do you have? So, you know, back before blogging was in the dictionary as a normal thing, number one, it wasn't as competitive of a landscape. So we could really get away with just kind of putting stuff out there and it would just magically get traction. But what we ended up doing is a lot of us bloggers, we were a one-man show and we weren't really starting a business at that point. So we kept the content really personable. We really created deep connection with our readers. And we always engaged with our fans because, oh my gosh, I got a comment, I have to reply to it. And so there was a lot more of an organic feel, a much more personal feel. And it really created these tribes quickly because we had so much personal engagement with our brands. And then as blogging started to pick up and people began to see it as the next entrepreneurial thing and it got more attention, bloggers, including myself, we wanted to kind of grow with the times, which was a good thing, not a bad thing. And so we really began to shift the blogs into more of businesses, which again is not a bad thing, but we got really sophisticated. And some of that is warranted because when, as you know, Amy, you know, we've talked about this a ton. A business grows, you have to scale your processes and your systems or you drown. And so we started doing things like funnels and automation, and we hired teams, and we started pumping out more content that maybe other people were writing for us, and really just getting just more sophisticated with our processes. And on one hand, that was excellent because it helped free us up. It created an actual business. It helped us become more professional. But then on the other hand, sometimes it really caused us to lose that connection with our tribes. And what I'm seeing now in the blogging world, because it is so competitive and there are so many voices out there, is we really need to get back to basics and kind of take on the whole 2008, 2009 blogging vibe of personable content, engagement, and really just kind of, not that we want to get rid of the funnels and the automation and having helpers, because that's important too. But I think getting that personal touch infused back into our businesses is crucial right now.
Okay, so you've got a lot of great stuff in there, and I want to go back and ask a couple of questions. So, you know, I love that you're talking engagement. I love that you're talking community. I love that you're talking about being really personable, but at the same time, understanding and going into it with the idea that we want this to be a business. I think what is different than in 2008 is people started blogs just because it was the new thing to do. And people, when they start blogs today, they want it to be an income source. They want it to be entrepreneurial. They want it to be something that's they're gonna give into, and it's gonna bring them back income, which I don't even think bloggers knew was possible in 2008, right? Like they were just, oh, I can make money doing this. Amazing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So as a blogger is coming in today, what are a couple of things that you think they should be doing from the very beginning to set themselves up to be a profitable blog?
So because the landscape is competitive, I think you need to be committed to quality right from the beginning. And unfortunately, if you would have started 10 years ago, you wouldn't have had to worry about that as much, because you wouldn't believe some of the stuff I put up on my blog in 2010. It's a little embarrassing. But now, in order to be seen, you really, really need to be committed to good quality photos, decent design. And I'm not saying you have to go spend an arm and a leg, but you need to have something that's clean and uncluttered. And I think the biggest piece is knowing right off the bat how you're going to serve your audience and who you're going to serve. When I started, I didn't even know what a target market was. I'm pretty sure you taught me that. I didn't know what problems I was solving or who I was helping or if I was even helping anybody. And you can't afford to be that clueless now. You have to kind of come into it with intention.
Right. Well, and I think an idea of where you want them to end up, because you know, I remember, gosh, I think you'd been blogging for a couple of years when we first met. So you were probably, what, 3 years into your blog, maybe?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years, yep.
3 years. And I remember you were still creating from a place of creating what I'm interested in, versus now when I see you create, it's a lot more intentional. You're creating according to an outcome. And not that you don't still share a lot of things that you're really interested in, because your blog is all about stuff that you're interested in, but you're always, you know, you do need to be able to think through, where do I want my people to end up? What's the outcome I'm trying to create? And then what content can I create that's in alignment with that? So you're not throwing things that are just out of left field that your audience is going, I don't even know where this came from or why it's here. And it feels off brand. I don't think people are as patient with you being off brand.
They aren't, no. And that's why, yeah, that target is so important. And that's a really important point about, because, you know, if you want to start a blog for your grandma and your mom to read it, that's totally fine. You know, go for it, which I'm guessing if you're watching Amy's YouTube channel, you're in for the business. But yeah, what products and services are you going to provide? You know, whether it's coaching or it's an actual tangible product or it's a digital product, like you need to start with that first. And maybe you don't have to create it right away, but you need to know where you're sending people and start with that and then build backwards and then create the free high quality content to direct them down there. And I didn't do that for years, as you know. You know, I was just blogging and throwing stuff out there and hoping it would stick and really had no strategy of how that was going to convert people into my tribe and into customers and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I want to back up as well to this idea that blogging is dead, because I am hearing that lately, you know, and even when I have clients that come to me and they're like, well, I need to build an online following. I want to get into this world. Should I do blogging? A lot of times I'm like, I might try YouTube instead, or I might go Instagram instead. And so, because they're just, what was so fast moving with blogging a few years ago, I think that fast movement is happening on other platforms right now. So my question for you is, do you ever recommend that somebody just blog, or do you recommend that blogging be done in conjunction with other social media platforms?
Yeah, absolutely. It needs to be done at this point in time with other platforms. And I think, like you said, what I tell people, because I get this question every day, I want to start a blog. What do I do? Start, like, Instagram is fantastic right now. YouTube is the place to be. Facebook, not so much. But, you know, focus on a channel of social media where you can get out there, start communicating with your target market, test content, test topics, engage. And then once you've kind of built traction there and have an idea of who you want to be and what you want to create, then that's the time where you want to start getting a website or a blog set up. So I kind of see like a social media channel like Instagram or YouTube as being the handshake to meet people and to get people interested in you and your story and your products. But you always want to have that blog that you own, that's your real estate, that you have full power over to direct them to later, kind of when you're ready to go on the first date, if you will. So it's kind of that next progression.
This is like a soapbox moment for me where I'm like, you have to have your own thing, because think about it, you do not own your Instagram following. So if Instagram goes out of business tomorrow, all those people are gone. You do not own your YouTube following. So, I mean, if YouTube goes out of business tomorrow, they're owned by Google, and probably we're in the apocalypse, but still, you know,
exactly.
like, or if they ban you, you know, like that happens. And usually it happens to people who are breaking the rules. So I don't imagine that most of us are going to get blocked, but the truth is they change their algorithms. All the platforms change their algorithms regularly. And so we don't own, the only thing that we own is our own blogs, our own websites, our own email marketing list. So even though I've had people a lot in the last year, well, do I still need email marketing? Yes, because it's the only list that you own. It's the only database. And so even if email marketing is dead, you still at least own that list, and you can, you know, mail stuff to them. You can call them. Like, it's the only place that's yours. So I'm 100% with you there. Get
yes.
it.
Yes. And I kind of feel like the old lady blogger, because like a lot of these young whippersnappers are just on Instagram. You know, there's a lot of Instagram influencers, and I have Instagram plus other stuff. And and I hear a lot of them talking about algorithms, and they're really devastated when Instagram changes their algorithm. And I learned my lesson. I literally sound like an old lady. Back in 2014, I learned my lesson because I put all of my eggs in a Facebook basket back when Facebook was cool. And Facebook loved me for a while, and I would post the silliest post and get massive engagement and tons of likes. And then one day Facebook shut off the faucet for no reason. I hadn't done anything wrong. They just changed their algorithm, and my engagement went to like 0 overnight. And like, that was the point. I'm like, I'm done depending on social media only. I have to have it as a piece of the puzzle, but not the only puzzle.
Right. Well, and what happened was Facebook became a pay-to-play space. And, you know, I have people ask that too, like, is Facebook dead? Should we not be on Facebook? But the thing is, it still is the strongest ad platform. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think you need to understand that in order to be an influencer that makes money, right? Now, I'm not just talking about an influencer with tons of fans and subscribers, because that, I think you just need hair extensions and a good selfie pose, right? Like, yes. That's what it takes.
A white house.
and a house with lots of white. Yes. So, like, I think anybody can get lots of subscribers if they just post consistently beautiful pictures. However, if you really want to create a business, you need pieces to the puzzle. You've got to have a place where you own your content and where you own your followers. That's going to be your blog. You know, you've got to have a place where you can do paid advertising, and all the platforms have that, but Facebook's is still the most established and the most sophisticated. And then you've got to have places where you get free visibility, which is not Facebook. Facebook is not free visibility. So I think in today's landscape, if you want to make money as an influencer, you just have to understand that there's multiple pieces to the puzzle. Now,
Absolutely.
having said that, if you're a new influencer that's just getting started, that's a little intimidating and a little overwhelming. So let's break it down into what they should start with.
So I'm interested to hear your take on this, but my take, at least at this point in time, is I really have been sending people to Instagram to start. Because they don't have to have the video equipment quite yet. They don't have to go pay someone to set up WordPress. But, you know, get on Instagram, up your photo game, your captions, how you communicate, figure out who you want to serve. And as that starts to develop, kind of the next step would be for me to get a simple web page up. Don't spend your whole life building it yourself. Like, just get it up, make it nice and make it you, but don't spend $1 million. And then just kind of start building your email list from the website, you know, directing people from Instagram into there. And then you can nurture your list and create those products later. So that's like kind of a really high level view of where I would start if I was starting today.
Yeah. And the other thing to keep in mind is it could be a landing page, right? Like it doesn't
Yes.
need to be a full on website to start. It could be a landing page. And, you know, I think for me as a new entrepreneur, I would really get slowed down by the things that I was terrible at. Like I am terrible at designing a landing page. And so that would feel like this insurmountable obstacle to me. Well, guess what? You can find designers who will develop that landing page for you in the Philippines for super cheap. And they'll do a good job and they'll get it up and running. And so sometimes we have this big barrier in our minds. Like I say this happened when I was a new entrepreneur. This happened this year, okay? So I knew I needed to start a YouTube channel. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I've known what I wanted to, like it was all mentally planned out. But I literally stink at knowing how to use my video camera. And so like I'm terrible at knowing how to use my video camera. I literally don't understand it. And so I put it off because I don't know how to do that. So I think for those of you who have that desire and you hear, you know, Instagram following, I think I would recommend Instagram or YouTube. I think either one is in place. But Instagram or YouTube, then get a really simple landing page or a really simple website and have a free product that's valuable that people can opt into. If there's any piece of that equation, because it's a very good one, if there's any piece of that equation that you don't know how to do, find somebody who does. And for a nominal fee, pay them to do it. And we're not talking $1,000 for your very first landing page. You know, we're talking pretty cheap. So just let yourself have access to those things, even if you're not good at them, because I still don't know how to use my video camera.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I think, and I was the same way. I had this major mental block over YouTube because I started my channel this year too. I don't know why. I was just like, I'm like, come on, Jill, you know how to do these hard things, but I just didn't want to do it. I just couldn't get over it. So for me, when I get stuck like that or kind of paralysis by analysis mode, it's just that first action step, even if it's messy and imperfect. And, you know, that's why I say start Instagram, because you can go on Instagram and make mistakes and post things that no one likes and then post other things that everyone likes. And just as long as you're taking that action, I feel like that's where the magic starts to happen if you're just moving your feet forward.
Absolutely. And it is, you know, for me, I just had to pull out my camera and I'm like, all right, we're filming. My kids are like, is that a new camera? I'm like, no, I've had it for 2 years. I just don't know.
Using it.
But it's there. We're just going to pull it out. We're going to start seeing what we get. Okay. So lots of good information here. What advice would you give to a blogger who has been around for a while and they want to take their blog to the next level? They want it to move beyond just a blog and into more of a business. What should they be doing?
So I think the first part is to figure out what problem you can solve for your following. What are their pain points? I mean, that's what people really want to hear in this world of so much noise online and many voices. Like, people will listen to you if you can solve an immediate problem they have that's really bothering them. So I'd say figure out their problem and then kind of work backwards. So what can you create to solve the problem, whether it's an ebook or a course or a free, a training where people pay you to coach them for 3 hours online, as a group or something. I don't know. But figure out how you can solve that problem through a product, and then figure out how you can create the product, and then you can kind of create that funnel, which sounds more complicated than it is. But the key is, if you want to start turning your blog from just a hobby to a business, you have to figure out how to create that first income stream. And the best way I know how to do that is just problem solving.
I love it. Halfway. Half of it, though, I want you to tell them what you did to create your massive revenue stream, because I think it's brilliant. I think a lot of entrepreneurs think they have to create everything from start to finish. And your main revenue stream in your business is actually a product line that you sell that's a direct sales company, network marketing company. And I think that's brilliant, because now you don't have to do all of the product development. You get to create the funnels and lead someone into a product that's way better than what you could produce on your own. And I think that is brilliant. So there you go.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because actually, I'm creating a video course right now. And I've done ebooks and stuff, but the video course is my first big girl product that I've done. And I guess I had a few little things, but my big girl signature product, right, 8 years in. But I've been extremely successful. Like you said, I had mine is a line of essential oils, and it's a tangible product. And I didn't have the capability to ship them from my house at that point and go to the post office and create something. So I partnered with a company. They handle the fulfillment, and all I do is direct people and nurture people. And that has been the complete engine of my business for years now. And honestly, it's because of that I have been able to take more time and build my signature product. But if you're limited in resources, or maybe just creativity at this point, knowing what to create to serve your people, if you can find a company to partner with, it can be amazing.
Awesome. Well, and I think that there's a lot of wisdom in that, and feeling like you have to build every single piece of the puzzle. You don't. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can start directing. You could do affiliate marketing, where you could find somebody else who has a really great product and you're directing them there. You could bring in a product that's already existing. You can create products. So sometimes we get so laser focused that we have to do what we're seeing other people doing. But we're not looking at what their backstory was. So if you're a blogger that's looking at, okay, I want to really create a substantial revenue in a short period of time, my top 3 suggestions would be partner with a company, a great company that's got a good compensation plan, and sell a product that's already tested, proven, and ready to go. Or 2, find somebody else who has created a really amazing digital product that you can stand behind 100% and be an affiliate for them for a while. Or number 3, hustle and create something that's high end, which I know sounds counterintuitive, because everyone's like, no, but in these funnels, you get these massive amounts of people, and then you create a low cost option, and then people come in. But the problem is, it takes so many people flowing through to make money from that you would be much better off creating a high end thing that you only have 10 clients in. So have 10 clients that each pay you a couple $1,000 bucks, and you're making more money faster than if you're trying to create the low cost product and bring a ton of people through. So those are my 3 tips if you want to make money quickly.
And you don't have to necessarily have as big of a following as I do, or have tons and tons of social media people to make really good money online. If you have, like you said, if you have a high ticket item and you can really nurture and you do a good job of meeting your audience's needs. There's people with smaller followings than I have making more money than I am, just because they're maximizing their small audience. So don't feel like you have to wait till you're in the million mark to start making an income.
Sure. Well, the other problem with that of waiting is, I've seen this happen where influencers are like, I just need to build the following, then I'll open the funnels, and then their audience is ticked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all of a sudden you're just trying to sell us stuff. And it was like, well, that was my intention the whole way through. And then I see them feel like they have to back off. Like they can't they're not allowed to use this blog as a stream for revenue. And I mean, honestly, this is full time.
Oh yeah.
Running a business is a lot of time. I mean, maybe not everyone is 40 hours a week, but this is definitely an investment of our lives, our creativity, our blood, sweat, of tears. Of course, we want it to be something that produces value back for us because we put out a lot of value. So if you will start that process earlier on, then you'll not have such an outrage when you go there.
Yeah.
Okay, now I feel like we opened up that, and that needs to be our last question. If they didn't do that and now they're wanting to sell and make income and they're starting to get some pushback from their audience, what's your advice for that?
If you're starting to get pushback from your audience, I think you have to be okay with that at some point. Like, I feel like you're going to have pushback. I don't care if you're the most perfect blogger in the world with the most beautiful platform and perfect speaking ability. Someone will not like you and it's okay. And it's just there is an element of anything you do online, YouTube, Instagram, blogging, you have to just kind of develop that thick skin. And it gives you this is why I love business, because it helps you become a better person. And this is part of that growth journey that is not my favorite, but it's really good. It'll help increase your confidence. It'll help you learn how to deal with difficult people a little bit better. So you have to let it kind of roll off your back a little bit.
And understand that, losing subscribers or losing followers, it's not like you lost family, right? Like, there's a new subscriber, a new follower coming behind that will like what you do even more. So don't hesitate to direct your business where you want it to go, because you're building this really, we're building it for our audiences, but we're building it for us. And if it doesn't work for us, we're not going to be able to go the distance and continue to create great content. So, okay, good stuff. Jill, thank you so much for being on with us today. We really appreciate it. Do you want to go ahead and share where's the best place for people to connect with you if they want to get plugged in with all the cool stuff you're doing on your blog, or even if they want to be a little spy and see how you're running your systems? What's the best place for them to look?
Yeah, so as far as social media, I'm the most active on Instagram. So if you want to chat or DM me or tag me, find me on Instagram. It's at The Prairie Homestead. And then if you want to kind of spy on one of the things I've been working on, one of my funnels, we have something called the Heritage Kitchen Handbook. And it's leading up to our launch this spring, and we have really good engagement, and we have it connected to a Facebook group, and it's really doing a good job of building community. So if you want some ideas, you're welcome to come check out what I'm doing. And you can find that either on my blog, theprairiehomestead.com, or if you want a direct link, it's heritagekitchenhandbook.com.
Awesome. Well, I recommend anyone who wants to move into being a social influencer or wants to blog or is blogging, Jill is the go-to person to follow. I go to her for all questions blog. And so thank you so much for being on with us. And for the rest of you, have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Amy. It was fun.
Thanks. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. If you loved this interview with Jill and would like some more tips and training from other experts on how to grow your business, there's a whole interview playlist, so make sure that you subscribe and share this with your friends. We so appreciate your support.